Welcome back to African Gold Growers Academy. Today we have the honor of welcoming a very special guest, Etimbuk Imuk, better known as Eti. She is an outstanding entrepreneur, mother, mentor, and a pioneer in the edible and medicinal mushroom production industry on the west coast of Africa, specifically in Lagos, Nigeria. Etimbuk is an African gold grower due to her dedication and commitment to delivering the highest quality in each of her products, as well as her efforts to produce local resources in Africa that contribute to the region's development. In this interview, we will explore Etimbuk's experiences and knowledge as an entrepreneur, as she shares her valuable stories and perspectives with us. We are truly excited to have her here with us today and sincerely thank her for accepting our invitation. Well, welcome back to African Gold Grower Academy. Today we have the honor to interview to Etimbuk Imuk, an entrepreneur from Nigeria who is improving in the mushroom growing industry. She's improving in an outstanding on the edible and medicinal mushrooms. So thank you for accepting our invitation, Eti. And well, if you can introduce a little bit about yourself.
Okay, thank you so much. My name is Etimbuk Imuk, but I love being called Eti. I'm very excited to be here. I'm an agriculturalist here in Nigeria. I'm a graduate of agriculture from the University of Calabar. I also have a certificate in business management from the European Business School, Etimbuk. I've had lots of business certifications and all, but in agriculture, I've had over 7 years of experience in different aspects of agriculture. In mushroom, I've been doing mushroom growing, training, consultations, farm setup, and all for the past 4 years. Yeah, so I have a company, Eti Farms Global, where we cultivate, process, and distribute mushrooms alongside training people, youth and women in particular, in starting their own enterprise in mushroom farming. So that pretty much covers it. I'm a wife. Yeah, I'm a mother to an amazing baby. You can hear her. So yeah, pretty much that's it about me.
Okay. No, she's a very cute baby.
Thank
Well,
you.
here we can. Well, I want to start with the next question. That is why mushrooms? Why mushrooms in Nigeria? And how do you find a need in the market? Okay. How, and you say, well, we can solve this need with agriculture.
Right. So I have experience in lots of things, but I just found the soft spot for mushrooms and decided to settle on it. So pretty much mushrooms is something that some people see as weed, as grass. Some people don't know it's edible. Some just think, okay, this is something. Growing up, we know our grandmothers would harvest it from the woods in the rainy season. I would just whip up something nice for us. So some people think, okay, that's just where it belongs, and the whole thing ends there, right? But pretty much as a person, my diet has been, I've incorporated mushrooms into my diet from my grandma, and us having some decaying logs at the back of our house, picking mushrooms, and then growing up and moving to Lagos in Nigeria, and looking for mushrooms, and it's just difficult. You see mostly canned mushrooms, you know, and where's the fresh mushrooms, right? Doing some research, I get to realize, okay, mushrooms can be grown. So if it can be cultivated, why is it not being cultivated, right? So that just spurred me up to, grow mushrooms. I found someone growing mushrooms, and then I said, okay, let me sit back and, do a little bit of feasibility study and see if really there is a market for this. And with a few months of, additional content about mushrooms, talking about mushrooms, I realized that there are so many people like me out there who are looking for mushrooms either because the doctor recommended it for their diet or reducing animal intake, or they're just healthy eaters who are looking to incorporate more mushrooms into their meal,
Mhm.
but are either not finding mushrooms or are scared of the few ones they find because they're not sure if they're edible or not. So
Mhm.
I saw that vacuum, the need is there, the demand is there, but who is there to supply? So that just made sense to me, to go into mushrooms. And so far so good. It's really been worth it.
So when you say you listen from recommendation from doctors, you means you literally listen from Nigerian doctors or doctors in
Yes.
general.
So I'm
Uh,
not just Nigerian doctors, right? I have a wide range of clients, people even from overseas.
mm,
So there are people who are working with with lion's mane mushrooms.
mm,
So I have parents whose kids have autism, whose parents are having memory decline, who doctors even abroad have recommended mushrooms, to be
mm.
added, lion's mane mushrooms to be added into their diet. You know, I was asthmatic growing up, and a doctor recommended mushrooms to be incorporated into my meal, and that was a life changer for me. So locally and internationally, mushrooms is gaining so much attention health-wise, to be incorporated into one's diet. Nowadays, people are looking at wholesome medicine where nutrition is in front, not just about medicine, but how food, which is what we eat 3 times a day, if not more, right?
Mhm.
How what could be more effective than what you get to consume, so many times a day. So more wholesome food and lifestyle is being incorporated into medicine these days. So yeah, locally and internationally, we have clients who say doctors recommended mushrooms to be incorporated into their diet.
That's super interesting, actually. Yeah, because
Yeah.
mushrooms are very even like mystic because they are very well known from ancient times, but in the modern times it's like a little bit forgotten. And I watch it also in many places like it's taking recovery in the research in the
Mhm.
diets, etc. And it's very interesting. Now the next question, and I think it's the most interesting from the interview, if you can talk with us about your challenges as entrepreneur in Nigeria, and especially as mother, as woman, because as women we have to be honest, I have a lot of challenges as
Mhm.
entrepreneurs in Nigeria, in
Mhm.
Africa in general.
Mhm.
So if you can talk with us about this process.
Yeah. So first off, I think after my university, I was so excited and enthusiastic to start. I served. So we have a National Youth Service Corps in Nigeria, whereby after university you serve the nation for a year and all of that.
Mm,
So I was after my camp, I was sent to a school to teach, right? So when I got to the place, I was shocked to hear, oh, we actually asked for someone in agriculture, but we didn't ask for a woman, we asked for a man.
wow.
And I was, what? I don't, I mean, you want someone who is going to teach agriculture. I can teach
Mhm.
agriculture. I can actually take them on practicals. They said, oh, sorry, and I was rejected, right? I was rejected because I'm a woman. And I felt really bad because we're beyond the level of subsistence and very painful agriculture
Mhm.
where it just has to be manual, where it just has to be physical and all of that. We're moving beyond that and trying to say, hey, agriculture can be fun, it can be anybody can do it. It doesn't have to be strenuous, you don't have to look so dirty and haggard to be a farmer and all of that.
Mhm.
And you're still taking us back to the ages where it just has to be about muscles, it has to be about stamina, it has to be about. So I felt really bad, and that was in my subconscious. I felt bad. So after studying for 4 years,
Mhm.
for 5 years, in the university, I'm out here, and you're telling me a male counterpart is better off. So that was the first, and it keeps occurring. Before starting my business, I was a full-time consultant, and
Mm.
a lot of times when I get to the field, you hear people say, "Oh, madam, now you," or you hear people say, "Ah, when is your oga coming?" So I'm like,
Wow.
I'm here. I'll be taking you on. I'll be showing you how to plant, how to
Mm-hmm.
cultivate the plantain, how to, how to set up your farm, and it just feels, at the end of the day, maybe after I've gotten the work done, they could, swallow their words. But that first point of contact is always like, oh, should it be you? Oh, what
Mm.
about your guy? Is he not free? That always comes up. So that is a big challenge. I love to do what I do because I want to prove to as many women out there who have been told, hey, you can't do this, you can't excel in the agri space, that it is more than possible, not just to do well, but to thrive, in the agricultural space as
Mm-hmm.
much as you have the interest and you're willing to do that. So yeah.
So basically, when you could broke this big barrier, showing that you have all this capacity, you have the knowledge, you have the training to teach to other farmers. That was like your biggest tool. I mean, to break this barrier.
Mhm.
That's interesting. And well, it was near to Lagos, or was in another part of Nigeria.
What?
This service you gave after university was near Lagos, or it was in another part of Nigeria.
It's general, and I think it's even cuts across. I think pretty much every profession, right?
Mm.
There are some professions that are just perceived naturally to be for men and not for women. I think it's a general
Mm-hmm.
thing. Um, the narrative is changing by the day. It's
Mm-hmm.
getting better, but beyond Nigeria, beyond Africa, I just think it's a global thing. By the day, it's getting better, but yeah, it's there.
Mm-hmm. Well, so the this is something interesting. I never expect that. That's that story, but this is actually very interesting. So, what has been your greatest rewards in another hand? I mean, which one has been your biggest achievements or satisfactions, and especially as entrepreneur?
Okay, so first of what even made me think of being an entrepreneur is the sense that I love to impact. I love
Mm-hmm.
to be able to I love to be able to do something to to affect the next person positively. I've always growing up seeing my father grow crops, where when this company estate, rubber plantation estate, and it was going well. At some point, the company was about folding up, and salaries were owed. A lot of children had to drop out from school and all of that. So it was getting 3 square meals for a lot of family became difficult, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had friends in the estate who always, when they came visiting us, we would eat. And one of my friends said something. She said that I'm so lucky to have a father who grows, who plants, who actually grows things, such that food is not a problem. I may not know how much it means, but they struggle to eat. And I don't know why, but that stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I started feeling so proud that
Mm-hmm.
my father was a farmer, and I never knew that having food all the time was a luxury, right? So it just
Okay.
dawned on me that with growing crops, with actually cultivating, even when the company was having issues and when my parents were not being paid as at when due, others were suffering, but were not really feeling it because my father was cultivating and producing. So I just felt, having that created an impact, and indirectly it affected my friends who a lot of times came to our house,
Mm.
just to eat, and the way they perceived us, that we were rich, we were doing so well because So I've always just wanted to, impact and all. So having to grow mushroom, the industry, even worldwide, is still an emerging market, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
not as common as cassava. It's not as common as yam. It's not as common as rice. It's not perceived as a staple food. So you have very little people growing or practicing in that space. And you wouldn't know how much people really need stuff until you have come across a few certain people. So when I see people actually saying, "Oh, I have searched for you my whole life," you know, where have you been? What
Mm-hmm.
made you think of growing mushrooms? So that satisfaction people get when they use my product, it's priceless. I just feel so fulfilled. I've been able to, you know, help someone out. We
Mm-hmm.
have parents who are using this for their kids, to help them with cognitive disabilities. We have people who have been asked to stay off meat. We have people who are vegetarians and vegans who feel so fulfilled that some who, as far as we're importing fresh mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
just knowing us that they can now buy locally grown mushrooms, it just means a lot. So to be able to provide a need, to
Mm-hmm.
be able to make someone feel that satisfaction through a product or service we offer is the height of it for me. It just always makes my day. So yeah, I think that's the greatest part of being an entrepreneur, being able to solve a problem and make
That's
someone's
amazing.
day.
Well, let's jump fastly to another question. How much are you harvesting per month now of mushrooms? Because mushrooms, well, I cannot quantify in space, but I'm probably in kilograms or something
Yeah, so in a month we do 300 to 500. It differs, 300 to 500 kilos of mushrooms.
per month.
And yes.
Wow, it's a lot. And how many people
Well,
have you trained?
we hope to grow because we hope to grow beyond that because we still have to buy from other farmers to be able to meet up, the demand we have.
Wow. And and even that is, are you including the seed-dried or the dry mushrooms?
No, so that's like the fresh
The
that
fresh
I'm
mushroom.
I'm talking about, yeah, the fresh mushrooms.
Nice. It's a lot. And how many people have you trained?
Well, so far, we've not gotten up to 100, but I think it's around 80. I think 83, 84. We just started the online arm this year.
Nice.
Because mushroom is something that it's a big technical. So I was always very much interested in having physical trainings, right?
Hmm.
Because they get to experience everything themselves as much as possible. I always want, after a training, you should be able to practice as fast as possible what you've learned. But after some time of having a lot of people ask, they're not so close, some are not in Nigeria and they really want to learn. So we decided to put together um, an online version of the training. And
Nice.
so far, I think it's really helping people because there are videos, there are practical videos people get to watch,
Hmm.
step by step process, and then, you know, take it up from there. So, yeah, I believe it's a growing industry. I want to help as many people as possible grow their own mushroom.
Well, guys, if you want to have any training with AT Farms, I will leave the website and all the data here down in the comments, so you can contact directly here.
Yeah.
So this is really really interesting and really passionate. I mean, this is the feeling that we are searching from entrepreneurs in Africa. The the reason or the meaning of the name of this channel, of this academy, African Gold Growers, is people like you that literally are growing gold in Africa. I mean, you find a niche, you find a need, and with very easy but at the same time technical solutions from scratch, you are literally building something really important and really uh, meaningful, you know, because it having a impact in the society. It's not only produce food, you are producing food, you are producing health, you are producing quality of life, you're producing jobs,
Mm-hmm.
incoming sources. I mean, it's a whole industry from a small company that is starting small but dreaming really big. I mean, 300
Yeah.
kilograms. Even talking about in the middle was a pandemic and this and that is a huge thing. I mean, and I
Mhm.
think we are going to see Eti farms for far, far, far.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. So the next question is, what will you have liked to know from the beginning of on your journey? I mean, if you talk back to the, you started in 2019, isn't it?
Yes,
If
2019.
if you talk back with the ETI from 2019 when you were starting as entrepreneur, or maybe before when you were just starting your career as agriculture engineer, which one have been the things you wanted to know? I mean, what you are going to say to your oldest version?
Awesome. So the thing I always wished I knew starting off and had utilized more would have been the power of collaboration.
Okay.
So starting off, I had this notion that having so many people or trying to reach out or ask for help or reach out to the next person, it could slow, there's this saying, go if you want to go fast, go alone, right? If you want
Okay.
to go far, go with people. So I just thought, oh, I don't need distractions. I don't need, I think I'm enough. I have all the knowledge I have. I just need to focus
Mm.
and, but the power of collaboration cannot be overemphasized, right now, if I had leveraged on experience of others, on the knowledge and network of other people, I think I would have gone further than where I am today. So definitely that would have been one thing I would have, worked on and leveraged on the most, the power of collaboration. Yeah.
Super interesting, actually. Super, super interesting. Yeah, I think. Well, we want, when we are young, I think many of us have this. I want to call sin, like a selfish that I can conquer the world alone. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's important. It's important.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, any advice for entrepreneurs who are watching us?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's it's not a friendly thing to decide to be an entrepreneur. It's not a bed of roses. I don't think anything is. But first off, for deciding to be an entrepreneur, I think you deserve to pat yourself on the back and say, well done. Because that is something a lot of people out there cannot even dream of,
Mm,
right? The fear of where my next meal will come from is legit. A lot of people can't even think of it, right? If I have a 9 to 5, I don't worry myself about my next meal because I know whether my company makes sales or not.
mm,
I know my paycheck will be ready at the end of the month. I'm a receptionist. I just have to smile, talk to people, direct them to where they're going, and that's it. And I'm sure of my paycheck, right?
mhm,
It doesn't matter whether there are issues in the company or not. But when you're the entrepreneur, you need to make it happen, right? If you don't sell, you don't eat. So well done so far. So good. Well done. Whether you're struggling with one thing or the other, I just want to say well done. You're a problem solver. It doesn't mean you won't have problems yourself. You would have problems, but kudos on deciding to go this way, right? But don't get carried away in whatever you're doing. Know when to ask for help and ask for help, right? You need to have a support system so you don't go into depression. That is extremely important. Mental stability, mental health is key, right? If you could fall into depression when you stay for a week and no one is asking you what are you selling, and
mm,
you have bills to pay and all of that. So you need to have a support system. If you're married, yourself and your husband shouldn't be entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs at the same time, right? One person should have, something, and the other person is trying to build something. So just have a support system. The support system, of course, doesn't just have to be financially, right? You need someone to actually, sometimes you need someone to validate you, right? You need
mm,
someone whereby when you're just saying, I don't think this is working, I don't think I'm doing any, in fact, I just need to stop. You need someone to just tell you, no, you're doing the right thing. Just believe in yourself, push some more. Okay, you're doing this, why not try it this way? You just need that support system, and it is very important. Look out for it. It should be financial, it should be emotional. You should just have someone who believes in you and who is really there to support you. You should have someone like that. And please remember to ask for help. It is very, very important. Please ask for help when you need one. And then know, I think very important thing is know when to take a step back. So what I mean
okay.
is some solutions come in earlier than they should. Some solutions come in when they are already outdated. And as an entrepreneur, it's very easy for you to get carried away. This is my baby. I'm very passionate about it. It must
Mm-hmm,
work. But you actually need to know when it is not working, right?
mm-hmm,
So I grow mushrooms, right? I'm not 100% about whole mushrooms. I'm about having to help people stay healthy, live a wholesome life. And at this point in time, I find myself doing that through mushrooms. And it doesn't have to mean that that mushroom has to be whole. It doesn't have to mean that the mushroom, I have to grow it. It doesn't have to mean that I should be in the
mm-hmm,
production arm. It could mean that in the next 1 year, I should outsource growing and go into full-time processing. It could mean that in the next 4 years or in the next 3 years, I'm not processing, I'm not growing, I'm in the value chain of distribution. I'm still carrying out my vision, right? But sometimes as entrepreneurs, we just get stuck that it is mushrooms, it is fresh mushrooms. I must be the
mm.
one to grow it. I must be the one to process. I must be the one to distribute. At the end of the day, we crash and burn out, right? So we should know when to step out and really evaluate the process and know if it's working or not. Yeah, I think I've said pretty
This
much.
is this is super powerful. Well, I have to admit, this is one of my wrongs I could call in as entrepreneur. We used to have here a craft brewery factory with my family, and then we opened a restaurant to sell the beer. And the idea was to share the, well, I residence now in Mexico. Soon I will move back to Ethiopia. But the thing is,
Okay.
uh, here in Mexico, the idea was to share the Mexican and Ethiopian culture and some things they have in common and historical facts between both countries, etc. So we were very passionate about it. But as you said, you focus. If you don't focus well, we burn out because we were doing the beer, we were managing the restaurant, we were cooking in the restaurant, we were doing everything, and it was very difficult. And after the time, we learned, hey, which is the objective. So you need to learn and find ways to make in a better and more efficient way. Because your mission is this: not produce not to make the product, not to be in the production line. Your mission is one,
Mhm.
and I think this is really powerful, really, really powerful. uh, yeah, and you said a lot of. I think the entrepreneurs who are watching it will learn a lot. Now, is a journey you recommend to another people, to another Africans?
Is that what?
A journey, the entrepreneur journey is something you recommend to another Africans?
Definitely, most definitely. There is, I think the world has presented, every day we are presented with a need, we're
Mm-hmm.
presented with a problem, we're presented with challenges, and all of this can only work if someone steps in and solves it, right? The government can and will never be able to solve all problems, you know, and that is just the primary role of an entrepreneur. We're out there to seek opportunities and challenges and create a solution whilst making money in the process, right? So jobs, unemployment, underemployment is real. Poverty is real, and all of these problems can be solved by just getting up and making that idea in your head come to life. You know, it's fearful, it's challenging, but hey, it's very possible, and you can make it work. Just put the right processes in place. Like I said, if you don't have money, there is nothing wrong in doing what you're not passionate about to
Mhm.
have money to be able to do what you're passionate about in a few years, right? Some people would say, my passion is this, and I don't want to do any other thing except my passion, but that is wrong. You could do other things to
Mhm.
get you the necessary, what is it called? The discipline, the information, the knowledge, the experience to even be able to put your passion to life. Before I started out with my business, I worked a 9 to 5, and that
Mhm.
gave me a lot of experience, some of which I've used during my journey as an entrepreneur. Right, the discipline. Some people think entrepreneurship means, oh, I'm my boss. I have the time. I can do whatever I like. I can spend. The money is mine. And all of that. And those are all wrong notions, right? In fact, being an entrepreneur just means you're you, you're not even doing a 9 to 5. You're doing a 24 hours round the clock, because you have someone coming to place an order by 12 a.m. and it could be a very huge order. If you don't respond before you know, the person says, "Oh, sorry, I've gotten it elsewhere." So you won't
Mhm.
say, "Oh." So you're actually working around the clock. It's even more difficult. You need self-discipline. There are a lot of structures you need to put in place if you're, to succeed and all. And if you don't have that training, some sort of training before stepping into the role of being an entrepreneur, you could just
Mhm.
be setting out to fail even before you start. It is well recommended by me, but before then, get prepared, get the knowledge, get the experience, possibly get a mentor, talk to
Mhm.
someone who is already doing what you think you want to do, to learn a few things before going in and getting born.
The mentor is super important, actually, also. And the discipline you are saying is also super true. I mean, as entrepreneurs, discipline is crucial. Mentorship is also super crucial. But I think, as you said, we have not to stop because we don't have the money or we don't have the resources. I mean, at the end, when we are truly um, honest with ourselves, what we enjoy is to watch back and watch all the process, all the journey. When you
Mhm.
achieve, it's like when you receive your title, from university. You don't enjoy the title per se. You enjoy to watch back and see all
The
the five,
process,
7 years.
oh, what exactly? Exactly.
So the entrepreneurship is the same. I think it's the same. So you need to learn to enjoy the process. This is crucial.
Exactly.
Well, and what we are going to watch, or what is dreaming Eti from now to 10 years?
I didn't get that.
What is dreaming Eti? I mean, what are you dreaming from now
Okay.
to 10 years?
Okay, that is huge. I mean, first off, I'm very particular about mushrooms, and generally, I just feel there is a lot that can be done. I feel there is a lot that can be achieved. Um, I see myself and my business becoming a conglomerate, you know, going beyond the shores of Nigeria, going beyond the shores of Africa, globally, right? Um, Exporting and all. I see myself having a lot of, business out there, helping people. So I think growth generally for me just means the number of people you are able to raise. And the more you're creating impact, the more people you're carrying along, right? Um, 10,000 youths having to create employment for one person, that is a lot. 100 youths having to create employment for one person, that is a lot. So we have what we do from time to time. We call it the Feed Your Household initiative, where we teach youth and women how to grow mushrooms. We do this every half of the year.
Okay.
So we believe that by helping them have what to do, the mothers, they would be able to fend for their families, give their families, apart from creating um, food, they
Mm-hmm.
would also be able to have fight malnutrition and have a balanced diet. Women in underserved communities, right? So
Mm-hmm.
by doing this, you're not just helping them, you're helping their families. I believe in 10 years from now, we should be able to have at least 10,000 women who are able to fend for their families through mushrooms, right? Growing of mushrooms, creating general well-being through food that they eat, and then having a reliable source of income for themselves. The youths as well. I don't believe in sitting around waiting for the government to create employment. I believe
Mm-hmm.
we could all create, employment for ourselves. We're we're over 7 billion, in the world. We in Nigeria over 200 million. I think there can never be such a thing as too much job opportunities, or too many people being entrepreneurs. I don't think such a thing exists. I believe as much as possible, if we can feed ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? If we can feed ourselves, we can very much end poverty and fight malnutrition, which is a very big problem in sub-Saharan Africa. So yeah, by seeing myself in across board Nigeria, Africa, and the world globally, I believe other lives would also be taken, along. Yeah. So
Super interesting, passionate, and I think will be will be for sure a lot of more surprises from Eti. Um,
yeah,
well, about you said about entrepreneurs. Yeah, it's a principle that we always want to share here in the channel. We cannot wait the government bring solutions or the ONGs bring solutions. We have to take the things in our hands. If we need to build literally the Africa we dream with. I mean,
yeah,
African solutions for African problems. Because the other thing is we cannot just copy
true,
paste what is working in
true,
outside, because our reality is
true.
different. Now, it's another thing. I don't know if you have listened about Mohamed Yunus, who was a Peace Nobel Prize in 2007, and he has the idea of microfinancing and social businesses. So the idea he is promoting is social businesses that are not only for profitable issues, but also for social impacts. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, one of his books, in his last book actually, the name of the book is the A World of Three Zeros. And in this book, he said he is dreaming with a world without poverty, without unemployment, and without environment pollution or environment contamination. So he said for end poverty and to end employment, he said we cannot only wait for governments or only wait for billionaires entrepreneurs. He
Mm-hmm.
dreamed with an entrepreneur in each of the citizens of the world. I mean, maybe you have 5 to 9 employment, but also you can have another source of income. You can become
Yeah,
an entrepreneur. And as you say,
yeah.
from your father was growing his own food and the family. Also, as
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur, when you are making more money, you are impacting to the society and you're bringing income to your house also. So I think it's something really huge. Now, just for close, how can we support your project and something that you want to ask us?
Okay, thank you. I think it's a great platform. I think it's something really great you're doing. It's commendable, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Thank you.
First off is I love the fact that you're supporting and support is you're showing entrepreneurs in different parts of Africa to the world. So well done.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, so we're out here. I am open to collaborations, open to sharing ideas, open to yeah, working with other brands out there who feel that, they could work with us. We're very particular about works around climate action that supports healthy. One of the things that really endear us to mushroom is the fact that the whole process, instead of degrading the environment, conserves the environment, right? We use sawdust to grow our mushrooms. So sawdust usually is a waste that is being burned, causing
Mhm.
environmental pollution. So we are able to convert that into what we use to grow our mushrooms, making the environment safe, for us all. So that is one of the things we're very passionate about. So works around supporting the environment, making it safer, and whole is something we're very proud of. Like the work we do in Native Farms Global. So we're open to collaboration with.
Unfortunately, we have some technical problems and we lost the signal. As you have already heard, we can support Eti and Eti Global Farms by following in her social network and also buying her products if you live in Nigeria or taking her training also now in an online version or presential version if you live in Nigeria. Her contact is as always in the description of the video. Thank you very much for watching us until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a like to the channel. It's free for you and you help us a lot. We hope that this has been a useful interview and that, like us, you have learned a lot about the exciting world of entrepreneurship. Remember, this is how we grow gold in Africa. Bye bye.